What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM. Mad Dog Sports Radio. The number to call up, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Lots of stuff to get into today. Had an NFL preseason weekend. First week of the NFL preseason. Can't ignore that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about in regards to that. Of course, we'll end up getting into the Dallas Cowboys, the bane of my existence. Somehow, some way, they continue to steal headlines. Partially because it's a slow news day. Partially because Dak Prescott actually looks more than serviceable to the point where we had no choice but to look at them and say, you know what? They may indeed have a backup quarterback after all. So we got to look at that. That's something to get into. Of course, we got to get into Team USA basketball. That's something to get into, and you know me well enough to know that at some point I'm going to get into Jeff Fisher's contract negotiations. Jeff Fisher, head coach for the former St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm looking forward to doing that. I don't think Jeff Fisher is looking forward to me doing it, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't blame him one bit. First order of business, however. Couple of things. This Friday night, I was reached out to by perennial NBA All-Star Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony is a star for the New York Knicks, a career 24.7 point per game scorer, a perennial All-Star, one of the greatest offensive players of the modern day generation. And somebody that I openly and publicly acknowledged I had a huge, huge problem with. Carmelo Anthony has been in the league for 13 years. Carmelo Anthony has played in one conference finals. Carmelo Anthony has never played in an NBA finals. And he's been bounced out of the first round of the NBA playoffs 8 times. So when I saw a quote from him last week, and it essentially alluded to him talking about even if there is no NBA championship, he still would have had a great career because he'd have 3 gold medals, assuming they win this Olympics, which is not a foregone conclusion based on what we've seen the last 3 games from now against Australia, Serbia, and obviously France yesterday. But if they end up winning, Carmelo Anthony would have played in 2008. He would have played in 2012. He's playing in 2016 and would have 3 gold medals. He's already the all-time leading scorer in Olympic history for Team USA. Here's the deal. I had a problem with Carmelo Anthony. And I had a problem with him because I thought his quotes came across as somebody who believes that it would be perfectly fine if he just captured gold medals and never captured an NBA championship, that he would be absolutely cool, everything would be great and peachy keen and all of that other stuff. I was pissed off. And I was ticked off because I don't want to hear that from a guy that's got, in my opinion, at least 5 years to go in his NBA career, who's playing for my New York Knicks, who haven't won a championship since 1973. I didn't want to hear that. Not even a little bit. It ticked me off. And I went off. Then sometime Friday night, after Team USA escaped with a hard-fought victory, Carmelo Anthony reached out to me. Not going to repeat his words, partially because all the details of his words are none of your business. The other part of the reason is because I don't think it's fit to repeat over FCC airwaves, even though these are not FCC airwaves. He was pretty pissed off. I'm just going to let y'all know that right now. Carmelo Anthony was not happy. I've dealt with players who have not been happy with me before. I'm kind of used to it. I mean, I say hi and bye to LeBron. You know. His little stepbrother, Kevin Durant, ain't the fondest person in the world when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. I get all that. I could give a damn. Because I know I got love, nothing but love for LeBron James, and I appreciate everything that he is. And if he doesn't feel the same way about me, he's entitled. Kevin Durant, I think much was overblown about our little spat with one another. He just called me a liar, and I had to check him on that. But I think Kevin Durant is a great person, one of the top 3 players in the world. I have to admit Carmelo Anthony's a little bit different. Carmelo Anthony is somebody I've known for over a decade. He's somebody that I consider to be a really, really good brother. I got a lot of love for him. I got a personal relationship with him. And I got to be honest with you, y'all. He was justified in getting on me. I can slice it any way I want to. He got me on this one. Because first order of business is that his quotes were misconstrued. Under no circumstances did he ever mean to come across as somebody that was saying that gold medals is what he's shooting for and that the NBA championship is not a priority. And his whole thing is that hear the entire interview, the context in which the questions were asked and answered. And you know that's not what I was saying, not to mention the fact that I still have years to go and I'm still hungry for an NBA championship and I still have unfinished business. He said all of this. I did not know that. And then to make matters worse, where he really got me, ladies and gentlemen, was the ultimate thing that I pride myself on. I never called him. Melo has been in Spain before. He's been in London before. He's been in France before. He's been in other parts of this world before. And I never called him because he was in Rio for the Olympics, and I thought that they were inaccessible, treating the Olympics differently than any other time. Because his biggest problem was, why didn't you call me? And he's right. I was wrong. And I owe Carmelo Anthony an apology. It's just that simple. In this business, when you have the kind of access that I have been blessed and fortunate enough to have with various players in various professional sports, you don't make the mistake or drop the ball of not calling them before you go in, especially like I go in. I usually do that. It's rare in my career where I've ever made the mistake of failing to do so. But because Carmelo Anthony was at the Olympics, and he had a game that day, and he was in Rio de Janeiro, I'm of the mindset that he's unreachable and inaccessible. I should have called him. He's right about that. And there's no way to slice that. Especially when it comes to him, because he never hesitates to get back to me. He never hesitates to reach back out and explain his point of view. He deserved better from me. Period. I dropped the ball. That is why I owe him an apology. I'll be damned if I owe anybody an apology for saying prioritize NBA championships when you get paid $122 million a year and you're playing for a franchise that hasn't won an NBA title since 1973. I'll be damned if I owe anybody an apology for that. I'll be damned if I owe anybody an apology if they truly mean that gold medals are more valuable than an NBA championship in this day and age, particularly when you already have 2 on your resume. I'll be damned if I owe anybody an apology for that. But directly and specifically, as it pertains to him, I always called them before. I should have called them Friday. And in this business, it's real easy and it's real popular for people to just say what they have to say and go on about their business and never put themselves in a position to be confronted and corrected by the professional athletes they talk about. I don't live by that credo. I'm the kind of person, any chance I get, I make sure a professional athlete has my number and that they can reach out to me. Because the last thing I want to do is be inaccessible. When I talked about Josh Norman last week, he reached out. When I've talked about Deshaun Jackson or AI or Kobe or Chris Paul or D Wade or somebody in the past, they've reached out. I make sure that if, whether directly or indirectly, every single professional athlete that I potentially have access to, or I'm gonna talk about, they have access to me. I'm not hard to reach. I pride myself in that. And I violated my own standard by not reaching out to Melo. And it ain't too many professional athletes in the world that I owed that courtesy to more than I owed to Carmelo Anthony. The fact that I didn't call him is bad, because he always gets back to me. That was on me. That's my fault. And for that, I owe him an apology. Because had I spoken to him, I might not have been so hardcore in what I had to say, getting his perspective on things. Lesson learned. Won't happen again. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Speaking of USA basketball, let me be the first to say that USA basketball, you could say they're in trouble because they've gotten past the last 3 games by the skin of their teeth. You could say that. You could surmise that. You could allude to that. For me personally, I don't know. Because listen, they were never going to be the dream team. They were never going to be anybody like that. And these close, hard-fought games are more than they ever had to endure. 92, 96, 2000, 2008, 2012. 2004 was a different ballgame when they walked home with bronze. But for the most part, they've had problems. And I guess the world has gotten better because the NBA has successfully gone about the business of globalizing its brand to the point where even guys that are playing in Europe and are not playing in the NBA aspire to be in the NBA and are getting better and better and better. So as a result, it positions them to compete better against NBA caliber talent. Now you could also look at Team USA and say, okay, they only worked out for a minute. They had a week-long training camp and nothing more. And then after that, they played weak competition in those exhibition games. So it didn't necessarily prepare them for Olympic competition as much as they could have been. Fair enough. Here's also something that's fair. Kevin Durant is a superstar. One of the top 3 players in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But he's also showing you why folks say about him he ain't that alpha dog. Because when you have people that look to a LeBron in his latter years, or Kobe to some degree, and D Wade and others, and they talk about dudes who take the bull by the horn and really exert leadership in such a fashion that those around them are maximizing the potential within themselves. Where's that Kevin Durant? Where's that guy? I think these Olympics, more than anything, Klay Thompson had a breakout game. Kyrie had a breakout game. Melo had a breakout game. I think these Olympics have shown and have epitomized exactly why Kevin Durant ended up going to Golden State. He wants to fit in. He wants to be one of the guys, as opposed to the guy. There's nothing wrong with that if your talent doesn't speak to that. But when your talent is as big time and as surreal and as elite as Kevin Durant, and that's what you settle for, folks are going to notice. And they're not going to like it. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. How do you feel about Kevin Durant? How do you feel about how he looks right now? How do you feel about all of that? And how do you feel about what I had to say about Carmelo Anthony? Yes, I did apologize. He deserves it. He's pretty pissed. He should be. I hope he gets over it. I'm going to do my job. But I dropped the ball Friday. I should have called him. In the future, I will call. But my opinions, the fervor, the tenacity, the emphaticness, and the vehemence with which I speak will not change. I am who I am. I can promise you that. Speaking of people who are who they are, two people I wanted to touch on. First, A-Rod. Some reports about him going to Miami, to the Miami Marlins, now that he's departed from the New York Yankees. Last game as a New York Yankee on Friday, he doubled in an RBI, doubled in a run, got an RBI, received a nice ovation. We get all that. But it's time for A-Rod to go. He's batting .204. He can't play defense, can't field. He's not Mark Teixeira. A-Rod needs to go home and retire. He don't need to be thinking about playing anymore. Because if you start playing well, all we'll assume is that you're cheating. So why bother? Just don't do it. Just go away. Don't talk about going to Miami. We know you're going to live in Miami in the offseason, but you don't need to be there trying to play baseball. It's done. It's a wrap. Goodbye. That's how it goes sometimes. That's my point on A-Rod. And then last but not least, we have to get to the Dallas Cowboys. I want to apologize to all the football lovers out there who don't happen to be Cowboy lovers. My condolences. I swear to you, I don't want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, but I can't help it because they're always making the news. They steal headlines. They're masters. That's what makes them America's team, I guess, right? We bloviate, full of pomp and circumstance, signifying nothing. That's the Dallas Cowboys. I mean everything that I say when I say that the Dallas Cowboys have the worst fan base in American history. They're as delusional as it gets. They go 1-15, wake up the next morning, and act like they're going to win a championship. This is who they are. Can't stand them. I'm talking about the Cowboy fans. The Cowboys as an organization, I don't like them too much better. Ain't like y'all gonna win something this year. But see, this is the perfect example. This is why the Dallas Cowboys get on your damn nerves. This is why they are who they are. This is why they wreak your last damn nerves. The Dallas Cowboys put in their 4th round pick, Dak Prescott. Saturday night's game against the Los Angeles Rams, people showed up and showed out, and Los Angeles came there to support their team. God bless you. Hope it continues. But Dak Prescott completed 10 or 12 passes for like 139 yards, a few dipping dunks, but made a few good throws. Now y'all acting like y'all destined for the Super Bowl. Because y'all got a backup quarterback? Is that why? Now, when you didn't have a backup quarterback, you acted like Tony Romo was the savior. See, y'all can't make up your minds. Because that's who the Dallas Cowboys are. Look, Dak Prescott can play. I liked him at Mississippi State. He can ball. And I think it was a DUI charge. If it wasn't for something like that, I think he could have got picked earlier than the 4th round. But let's pump the brakes, will ya? Dak Prescott is playing behind Tony Romo. Tony Romo is another sack away from sitting out half the season because he'll probably land on his collarbone that continues to irritate him. And what is Dak Prescott going to be then? You have a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back. What you're going to have is Des Bryant, who will make plays against anybody. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Can we? Can we? Y'all are something else. You really are. Just get it together, please. Get it together. Dak Prescott is all right, but pump the damn brakes. He all right, but pump the damn brakes. My last item on the docket for now is Jeff Fisher, head coach for the St. Louis Rams, now the Los Angeles Rams. Talking contract extension. I want to apologize to Marvin Lewis. I want to apologize to Lovie Smith. I want to apologize to Rex Ryan, who made news for all the wrong reasons this weekend. I want to apologize even to Jason Garrett himself. Because let me tell y'all something. Hell, I'll go as far as to apologize to Chip Kelly. Because when I read that Jeff Fisher was in contract negotiation talks, you know what I thought about? Don King. promoter extraordinaire in the sport of boxing. Only in America, baby. Only in America. Viva America! Really? 21 years, Jeff Fisher has been a head coach in the National Football League. 15 years he has missed the playoffs. 10 years his teams have not reached 500 football. The other 5 years they have, but still missed the playoffs. He has not been to the playoffs since 2008. He has not won a playoff game since 2003. He is 10 losses away from becoming the all-time loser in NFL history amongst coaches. No coach will have lost more games as a head coach in NFL history than Jeff Fisher. Once he loses 10 games, which very well may happen this season. And we're talking contract extension for Jeff Fisher in the National Football League. Let me tell y'all something right now. When you start seeing the stands half empty, and Los Angeles Rams fans ain't coming out to the stadium in droves to watch football, and instead they prefer to be anywhere from Rodeo Drive to Venice Beach to LA Live to Pacific Palisades to Marina Del Rey to Santa Monica or wherever, look no further than these contract talks with Jeff Fisher. You see, here's the beauty of LA. It's such a beautiful city. The weather is so marvelous. The sunshine is so magnetic. There's always more to do. If there is one place that does not have to accept mediocrity, it is the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Yet knowing this, Rams ownership is talking a contract extension for this man. I don't even know what to say, y'all. I don't even know what to say. Somebody just tweeted me, talking about Jeff Fisher has a complexion. What is it? Complexion for reflection or whatever the hell he said. I don't know what the hell he said. Doesn't matter. Jeff Fisher. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's got me wishing I was him. I could be mediocre and still have my job. Damn. I didn't know it was like that. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Thank y'all for tuning in on Facebook Live. I see y'all right there. Wendy Summers, Stephen A. is the GOAT. Thank you so much. Cowboys, a team from prison. Chef Nemo, I wouldn't go that far. Cowboys at the end of the season is 11-5, possibly. Isaiah Hint 4-12, no. Nesta De La Torre, Long Beach in the house. Yes, I see you. Joshua Riley, we know you do. Jeff Garcia Sr., Fisher shouldn't even have a job. Worst tenured coach in the league. Can't argue with that. Nikki Parker Morgan, preach, Stephen A., thank you. James Johnson, true Stephen A. Smith, always speaking facts. Thank you so much. Raj Rocky Dillon, Kevin Sumlin, the Los Angeles Rams. I wouldn't mind that. Alexander Corley, you a monster, Stephen A. I try to be. Xavier Thomas, you been watching the Olympics? Hell no. Alberto Bautista, what's up? What's up? You the one that's here. Con Danzing, Stephen A. right on the money again about Kevin Durant. Thank you so much. Chris Simon, Stephen A. is that dude. Thank you. Pete Nathan, Stephen Wade, what about the Eagles? I think y'all going to be in the cellar in the NFC East this year. That's just my opinion. Donovan Boyne, God bless you, big bro. God bless you too, Donovan. God bless you too. Sudipta Chakraborty, Giants playoffs? I don't think so. Gabrielle Griffin, Stephen A., keep up the work, bro. Appreciate it. Con Dancing, one of the best shows of Sirius XM. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you so much. Christian Anderson, Cena, Golden State to the finals this year, of course. Mark Campbell, shout out to Stephen A. Shout out back, bro. Manny Rodriguez, shout out to Puerto Rico, first gold medal. Absolutely. Joey Mendonca, bless up, Stephen A. Thank you so much. Adam Smith, love your show, bro. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Ibarola, Cowboys are always ready and the Spurs winning this year. We'll see about that. I got to get on out of here, go back to my show, y'all. Y'all can see this Facebook post live throughout the day. I'll leave it up for y'all. Got nothing but love for y'all. David in Georgia, Stephen A., we love you out here in Georgia. Love you back. Love me some Atlanta, Georgia, especially. You know that. That's Gotham City. No. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying. Peace and love, y'all.